When walls talk back and windows cry, boundaries drawn under heavy skies. In the space between the said and seen lies a story that cuts unclean. Ties that thread and tangle tight, diplomatic dances in the cold moonlight. A step misplaced and the stage does sway, persona non grata carried far away. Persona non grata carried far away. No lights to guide this tired street. Potholes dance beneath our feet. Promises fall like broken glass. The future hides behind the past. Is it the end or just the bend? Will we rise or let it end? Through the crime and through the haze, can we find brighter days? Trains don't run the way they should. Ports stand silent where they once stood. A nation's heart beats slow and low, fingers pointing where the blame should go. Is it the end or just the bend? Will we rise or let it end? Through the crime and through the haze, can we find brighter days? Chaos sings in whispered tones. Streets of silence cast their stones. Promises empty like open skies, but hope survives where truth lies. Is it the end or just the bend? Will we rise or let it end? Through the crime and through the haze, can we find brighter days?
I'm saying bye to all the lies and all the times you cried, saying that I wasn't right, yet I was what you say about our private conversations, but it's got them hating. Thanks to all the rumors you be claiming. It's cool, I'm done with you, so they can throw you a celebration. You gon' hate it when you see me with somebody living better. I'm trying to tell you that me just doing me gon' have you jealous.
Hello world, welcome to the past. It is still Sunday, April 6, 2025. I know a lot of you in Europe and Africa and points further east are already living in the 7th of April. Good news for me, I got through much of my taxation tonight. Oh yeah. Went and compiled many of my expenses, got all of my income plugged in, got my dividends and interest income plugged in, and started adding up all my expenses and made some good progress. So that's good news. That's good news for the federal taxes, which are necessary. That's a predicate to do the state taxes. So some good news there. Welcome back to the program, folks. Tonight, do you want to chat? You want to ask questions? Go ahead and do it. Do my best to answer it. Not a lot of news prepped. Been a very busy day working on the taxes. I had rugby earlier. The Sharks suck buttermilk. They were terrible and lost much worse than the final score implied. Yeah, didn't do the news this morning because I had other considerations to do. We still managed to gain some subscribers today, though, although I think maybe not doing content today might have hurt the channel. We shall see. But I think we started the day. Let's see where we started the day and finished. Had a big drop off from the previous day. You had 421,000 views. 421,000 views. Kind of tough to keep that up. Dropped to just 185,000. Still the third best day ever on the channel, 185,000. Yeah, so today dropped quite a bit more, but that's because we didn't put any content out until later on. But I just want to let you know the count on subscriber, because a lot of people are paying attention. Yesterday was 71,094, so 71,712. So take 100 away from that would be 612 plus 618. So we got 618 subscribers today. No, Ravani, I'm not a Sharks supporter, not even for a moment. This is not a Sharks cap. This is a Vegas Golden Knights Stanley Cup Champions cap. Yeah, no, I am not a Sharks fan. I am a South Africa rugby fan, so I root for South African rugby teams, but not a Sharks supporter. I'm a Stormers, Western Province man. Yeah, all the way. No doubt about it, no question about it. I just dropped another video. I hope you guys like it. I hope you like it. Yeah, so, dropped another video, and that video was, is it the end? Is it the end? And you heard that at the beginning here. Yeah, nobody admits to being a Sharks fan on a Monday. Arctic is here. Anyway, so no, I apologies for not doing it. Again, next weekend, I'm going to have a bit of a problem. I've got a project going on, so I will not be able to do my regular streams. And there's only one rugby game to cover. That's the Bulls, but I don't think I'll be able to cover that one either. So my apologies. I'll probably do some production that'll be released during the weekend, but I might be able to be back on Sunday evening is possible. It just depends on how it goes. I'm going to travel somewhere and take care of some business. So I really can't talk much more about it then. So I can't really say much more about it until the end of the weekend. So yeah, but if you like the video, Beth, the is it the end? Yeah, it takes a lot of work to do that. You've got to find the right images to convey the right message. I've got to come up with the right lyrics to generate the right song, get the right tune, and then load it up. It's kind of cool. So Broken Dreams video. There you go, Hendo. Yeah, that's what we're calling it. So Alfonso Ferrer wants to know, what's the difference between the ICJ and the ICC? They're not the same thing. First off, the International Court of Justice is a court that goes back decades. That was created under the auspices of the United Nations to allow states, if they have a dispute, to go to state to state. So you normally go to the court when you have a complaint against another state. And I'll give you 3 examples of cases that have been decided in recent history. Number 1 is Botswana. Botswana and Namibia had a dispute between themselves over an island in the Chobe River, really a sandbar, but it's an island called Sududu Island on the Botswana side of the river. They both claimed ownership of it, but they went back. The court looked at land records and colonial records, and in the end, they sided in the favor of Botswana. Both countries adhered to and respected the agreement. Until recently, about 4 or 5 years ago, some fishermen were illegally fishing there and they were shot by the BDF for poaching. And that created quite a stir. And I did videos on it. I was attacked by a racist in Namibia, attacking me for attacking black people. I'm like, hey, dumbass, everybody's black. I wasn't attacking anybody. I'm just reporting on what's happening. Anyway, and reporting on the facts. The island belongs to Botswana, according to a court decision by the International Court of Justice. Both sides accepted it. This occurs 20 years after both sides accepted it. Another case was Cameroon and Nigeria. They had a dispute over the Bokassi Peninsula. The Bokassi Peninsula is located in Anglophone Nigeria, but it's originally part of French Cameroon. The court decided that it should go to French Cameroon, even though the people speak English and not French, and Cameroon is a French-speaking nation. So there's a little bit of trouble there. But the court awarded it to Cameroon. Nigeria accepted that. Third case is China. China was taken to court over its abusive behavior in the South China Sea. We should just stop calling it South China Sea and call it the South Asia Sea. Screw China. But it has this ridiculous 9-dash line that some fantastical clown wrote centuries ago and said, this is our space, and they couldn't even have ships that could go that far at the time. They claimed this space, and so the Philippines and others, I think, took them to court, and the International Court of Justice determined that China's claim to the 9-dash line is bullshit. They have no legitimate claim to it, and therefore they must vacate and stop destroying the ecological environment in the Scarborough Shoals and the Spratlys and the Paracel Islands. And China said, F you, and they're still doing it. They are an abusive, communist, dangerous power who must be ruled in, their leadership must be removed, and the country must be freed and liberated from communism. That's what must happen, but that's not what is happening. So China ignored the court's ruling. It has no power to enforce China to do it. So that's the ICJ. The ICC is a consequence of the misbehavior of human beings. We have the war crimes trials in Japan, the Tokyo trials and the Nuremberg trials in Germany to, in many cases, just murder former military officials who were guilty of nothing. Some of them were guilty of heinous things, but some innocent people were also relatively innocent. You serve in uniform and follow your orders and don't commit any crimes, you should be murdered for it. But they were revenged by the Allies. So they took out these folks. But there was no mechanism for future transgressions. We had Pol Pot, who came along later on, a horrible war criminal, and many others. And there was no mechanism. So when Rwanda's genocide, first there was Bosnia, what happened in Bosnia, horrible war crimes against humanity, women and girls being kept in rape centers and raped hundreds and thousands of times by endless parades of Serbians who came in there and gang raped little girls and grandparents and everything. 50,000 children at least born from those rapes. So after that, and then what happened in Rwanda, the international community, at the behest of the United States, said, we've got to do something. We've got to have a standing tribunal to prosecute people. So what they came up with is the Rome Statute. The Rome Statute was drafted in 1997, largely by U.S. lawyers working for the Clinton administration. They drafted the Rome Statute, which would give the International Criminal Court jurisdiction over countries who were signatories who were unwilling or incapable to prosecute someone, and they had to refer the person to the court. So if someone in South Africa committed a war crime or a crime against humanity, the government of South Africa would have to refer them to the court if they were signatory. So very constrained rules. The International Criminal Court came into effect around the turn of the century. The United States and several other countries refused to sign the treaty, even though we drafted it, because the treaty was used as a political tool to go after your political enemies. For instance, Belgium around that time passed a law saying that they could prosecute people for crimes anywhere in the world. Well, the Belgians don't have jurisdiction in Greenland or Iceland or Rwanda or Namibia. That's a joke. But they claim that right. So they could prosecute Augustino Pinochet and others who had nothing to do with Belgium. And so there were cases taken in 2003, while we were about to sign the Rome Statute, to the Belgian court to prosecute Dick Cheney and Rumsfeld and George Bush for war crimes and crimes against humanity, because they had the temerity to follow through on a United Nations order to go in and spank Saddam Hussein. So frivolous lawsuits. So that's why. Also, there were no protections for our military. Our military could be accused of war crimes without any evidence and incarcerated for years on end without due process. Therefore, we refused to sign it. A lot of states haven't signed it, mostly rogue states. But the United States has not signed it. Israel hasn't signed it. Russia hasn't signed it. Ukraine hasn't signed it. Therefore, the International Criminal Court warrant against Vladimir Putin is illegitimate. It carries no weight whatsoever. States that think they have a responsibility to arrest him when he arrives in their territory are full of it. The ICC has no jurisdiction. Even if you try to take the spurious claim that Putin committed crimes in Ukraine, but Ukraine's not even a signatory to the law or to the act, so it has no bearing. But it's being misused by leftists the world over. They think that constructivism works. It doesn't work, and the fecklessness and toothlessness of the ICJ and the ICC are proven on a daily basis. Might makes right. You may not like that. It may be unpalatable, maybe unpleasant, but it's the truth. Thucydides got it right a long time ago in the Malian Dialogue, in which the poor little island of Malaya, which committed no crimes, attacked none of its neighbors, was a prosperous, healthy, wealthy, and wonderful place, was attacked for just that reason, because it's a prosperous, healthy, and wealthy place. And they were too stupid to have defenses. They didn't keep a standing army that was sufficient to protect themselves or a navy. And the Athenians came and wiped them out, killed all the men, slaughtered them, sold the women as slaves, or raped them, and destroyed the island and took it over for themselves. The Malian Dialogue. Humankind has known that might makes right for a long time. So, did you get the answer you're looking for? So that was a question. Where'd that question go? What for life? Okay. Appreciate all you're doing. You're welcome. Okay, where the heck did that let go, that question? I don't see the question. I answered the question. What's New loves the song. Cool. There it is, Alfonso Ferrer. Alfonso Ferrer, did I answer your question? Good morning, Mr. QB. Shawnee, how's it going there? CB, Hendo. Marquis Pretorius. By the way, folks, it won't be a particularly long stream this morning. I have to be up at 5:30. Be into work before 7. So I've got to be up at 5:30. It takes me about 40 minutes to get there. I've got to get up, clean, shave, get dressed, put a suit on, and go to work. And that's how it's going to be for this week. Although I don't have to be at 7 every day, but yeah. What happens to the old farts that can't work? Will the government look after them? Are you talking about PA Bull? Are you talking about refugees? Well, there's Social Security supplemental for people, and there's means. Yeah, they don't bring people over who are just going to starve to death. That would be very bad advertising for a refugee program, would it? Come to America, starve to death. Live in FEMA tents. Live in FEMA tents. Live in FEMA tents. Live in FEMA tents. Starve. Go hungry. Die of malnutrition. Welcome to our refugee program. Everyone wants in. It wouldn't work. Do you see? By the way, I have asked my colleague on Friday if the Ukrainian, one of the Ukrainians he sponsored, would be willing to go on camera. They don't have to be on camera. They can be off camera and just speak to me. Yeah. So Alfonso says, thanks. It's interesting. Yeah. The problem, Alfonso, is you have politicians in South Africa who don't understand what these things are or don't care, and they lie about them all the time. Like the South Africans a few years ago. Well, we're pulling out of the ICC. ICC targets Africans. No, dumbass. The Africans that went to the ICC were referred there by their own countries. You freaking morons. And now they're standing for the ICC. ICC, it's just and moral because it's put a warrant out for Vladimir Putin. No, it's no more just, no more moral than it was before. Anyway. Where are we at here? Did I get a chance, Vanessa said, to look at the new private security law? I have not. Okay. People have been sending it to me all the time. New draft regulations for firearm use. DA opposes it. Proposed amendments. There you go. Defense web. Politics web. Now that's a good spot to go. DA calls for withdrawal of proposed amendments that restrict armed security officers in public spaces. Vague regulations and ammunition limits create equal legal uncertainty and inconsistent enforcement. Proposed amendments to South African Private Security Industry Regulatory Authority regulations have sparked major concerns within the security sector, with industry stakeholders saying the amendments threaten to destabilize the sector. Gazetted on 28th of March, these changes could impose severe restrictions on private security firms, significantly affecting their ability to operate. One of the most contentious aspects proposed is new restrictions on the issuing of firearms. The amendment states that security firms that are under investigation would be prohibited from issuing firearms to security officers. Well, that's a very convenient. You just put any firm you want under investigation for any flimsy excuse, and then they can't issue firearms. It's stupid. That's crazy. That's a dumb rule. Great song, says Paul DeClerc. Video you have created. Well done. I don't know how you do it. Thank you so much. Well, you're welcome, Paul. It's my pleasure. I'll keep them coming. Trump withdrew from the investigation, holding Russia responsible for Ukraine. What investigation? Who's investigating? Why do we need investigation? We know that Russia's responsible. What a waste of energy. What a waste of energy. Why would anybody spend 5 minutes going, let's investigate whether Russia's responsible for invading Ukraine? No, I think it was Estonia. Estonia caused the war. What a dumbass idea. What investigation? What morons are investigating that? I'd like to know. There's a waste. Hey, Doge. Hello, Doge. Doge. Hello, Doge. 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 Hello, Doge. I've got one for you, Doge. Yeah, some blooming idiot is investigating. They're investigating whether Russia was involved, whether Russia was responsible for Ukraine. They're blooming idiots, I'm telling you. Yep, Doge, get right on. Straight on top of it. Blooming idiots, I'm telling you. Seriously? Come on, guys. Urban Homestead gave 140 rand. Ooh. Thank you, Urban Homestead. Seriously, Holden, who's investigating that? That doesn't need to be investigated. It's like that's about as big a secret as who shot JR. It was Bing Crosby's illegitimate daughter. That's who it was. Oh my goodness. Chadwick Alexander. Hello to you. Leandra Cecilia Hennis, welcome back to you. 520 there. Yes, I know. And 1125 here, my friend. Is there any international court authority that has legitimacy to arrest or prosecute? Well, what are well tyrants? What are well tyrants? I don't understand what that question is. Well, no one has the authority. If the state is a signatory to it and the act occurred in their territory or in a territory where it is someone's under the jurisdiction, then they can refer them to the court. Watch the Aviation National Air Show yesterday live. Okay, cool. Glad it went well. Hey, Reg Dodd. Yes, Russia recognizes the International Court of Justice. Most states do. Jean D'Souza, good morning from Fort Lauderdale. Don't you ever get any sleep? So I enjoy your videos. You're always on point. I've been living here 4 years and have my green card. Congratulations, Jean D'Souza. Congratulations. Although Fort Lauderdale, a lot of naked chickies running around there during spring break, man. You sure it doesn't give you heart palpitations? Or is Jean a lady? That should be a dude, but who knows? I could be wrong. But yeah, if you're ladies, you like the naked ladies too. Hey, I'm not going to get involved in that. That's none of my business. People can be who they want to be. What about those who can still work but don't have that many years left before reaching retirement? What about them, Kempachi? If you're able to work, you're expected to work. If you're a refugee, if that's your question, yes, you're expected to go get off your ass and get a job. Absolutely. We're not bringing here to be people here to be beggars. We're getting you out of a place where your life is in jeopardy. And in exchange for that, you have to work and pay taxes and contribute. Otherwise, get the out. Yes, you'll be expected to work. Beth got to meet a very lovely couple from South African church today. Wow, that's nice. Simon Christoph, good morning. Good morning. Good morning to you. George, welcome to you. Veritas Acutis, good morning to you. Oh, it's going to cause massive backlash. It's also going to cause massive criminal activity because people are not going to submit to this. They're not going to turn their firearms. Look, we've seen what happened in Australia when they disarmed citizens. They disarmed people in the UK. When they take your firearms, then they come for you. They did the same thing in New Zealand. Canada has done the same thing. Canada is gone. Canada is completely gone. You can't defend yourself in Canada. Only criminals can have guns and murder you in the streets. Yeah. Canadians became pussies. I don't know when they became pussies, but they became big, serious pussies. I don't know. Not everyday Canadians, but politicians. Urban Heaven said with the 140 Rand super chat. Thank you. It's not a plot. It's a bill. It's a law. There's no plot. They're going to disarm people if they can't be stopped. Holden says NATO member states. The NATO member states were investigating whether Russia was responsible for Ukraine. What a bunch of... You see how feckless NATO has become? NATO, once upon a time, was a powerful, strong military and diplomatic alliance. Now it's just a cafe clutch, a bunch of leftist losers sit around and circle jerk each other. Yeah. No, they're useless. They're useless. They have no value whatsoever. And then they don't pay their fair share. They're freeloaders, by and large. The exceptions Estonia, Latvia, Lithuania, Poland, but most of them are freeloaders. Most of them are freeloaders. They expect us to carry the weight, and then they whine when we don't. Oh, America's so mean. We bankrupt ourselves to cover NATO. Screw them. Look, I've served in NATO formations for decades, and it's just become a useless, whiny EU zone. If the Europeans wanted to be so whiny, they can defend themselves. Russia is not a threat to Europe. I think Russia can't defeat Ukraine. Guys, seriously. 2022, 23, 24, 25. We're now 3 years and 2 months into Russia's war at Ukraine, and they haven't gotten anywhere. Do you honestly think Russia is a threat to Poland, to Germany, to France? The Russians couldn't drive that far on a tank of gas. They couldn't drive that far with their trains to support them, the logistics trains. They're not a threat. They're not a threat. The Europeans are just wankers. Paul says, please get some sleep. We can't carry on like this. We won't mind if you miss our daily show early for you. No, it's okay. It's fine. I'm good. It's just I started early. Start 11. We're going to go for about an hour and a half max. Yep. No, we're fine. We're fine. Thank you for your concern, though, Paul. I'm good. Yep, I'm good. Yep. My most important thing I take care of is a project I got to do next week. I had a lot of work for that. Also, the work I'm doing this week, consulting, but that's during the day, so it doesn't affect us. And then the other thing is getting my taxes done. Got to get them done. So got a good start on that today. Got quite a bit accomplished. But the software was very annoying. It kept telling me that the account numbers that I was using were duplicate, and they weren't. Stupid stuff. David Wilson, hello to you. Anyway, be sure to hit the like button if you don't mind, folks. It's early for folks in South Africa. It's not so early for folks this side of the Atlantic. And I hope you go listen to my newest video. A few people have listened to it. I need to get a link to that real quick, so hang on a second. Whoops, that's not what I wanted. Come back here. Okay, I need a link. Get a shareable link because I haven't shared that yet on social media. People are sending me tons of things, folks. I can't get to all the things that people are sending me. Huh. Yeah, filing for extension for taxes is not a good idea. It's not a good habit to get into. It just draws attention to you, and then you go up the list for being audited. Why did you file for an extension? Most people file for extension because they've got something wonky going on, or there are people who are injured in hospital, but it just draws attention. Nope. Best thing, get the taxes done. Plus, I need the money back. I should get a return. So, oh, you like that, Xavier? Cool. An armed society is a polite society. Please correct me if I'm wrong, but Dems came across as this is a bunch of kumbayas now. Look at them. Yeah, they're a bunch of wackadoodles. Gika Taumula. Well, that's a very German name. Taumula. Good morning to you. So, yeah. Anyway, so where are we at? The new private security bill. Not good news, folks. It's bad mojo for South Africa. Really is. The ANC they're just communists, man. I mean, seriously, they're just communists. So interested parties have 4 weeks from March 28th to submit written comments. The Office of the Director of Private Security Regulatory Authority. So this is the correct email. Apparently, the one that's in the Gazette, they listed the wrong one so that your email would go to a place that they would never get it. You see how underhanded they are? This comes from Politics Web. Politics Web is saying that the email that's in the Gazette is wrong. It is not the place to send it. So if you want to send a comment to them about taking arms away from private security that you rely on to keep your lives and your businesses going, this is the email address. Flood their email box. Apparently they're doing it again. The ANC, just like when they tried to take weapons away from people after apartheid ended, and weapons that had to be registered, and then they said you must go to the police station, get the form, and then they didn't provide the forms so they could turn people into criminals. You can never register your weapons. Stupid. Raining dogs and cats here in South Africa. Well, Madeline, I don't think it's raining everywhere that way in South Africa. Where are you at? Uppington, Polokwane, Itaquini, Pietermaritzburg, Cape Town. There's got to be some place where there's no rain. Anli Hamza, good morning. Please take care and get some rest. Guys, I'm fine. It's funny, you guys keep worrying about my rest. It's actually earlier than it normally is. When I normally do this lately at 11:30 because of the daylight savings time. You're in Zeerust. Oh, Zeerust, rain this time of year, Madeline? Okay, well, I get to Zeerust. I don't know if I'll get back to my next trip, but I've been there many, many times. Yes, they want you vulnerable, Ravani. That's exactly what they want. But there's the email address if you want to send someone something about that. Anyway, if anybody tunes in and they want to know questions about refugee status, I'll entertain an occasional question, but most of your questions can be answered by simply going to my Substack, subscribing to it. You don't even have to subscribe. It's just the nicest thing you can do is subscribe to it and check out that document, which is located there, okay? And that will give you videos talking all about it. No, we are not giving up Second Amendment here. We have unconstitutional laws in several states. It must be rolled back. We fight for that all the time. 8 steps to socialism. 4-step disarmament. Yep. When they take your guns away. See, we don't have guns for hunting or for sport. We have guns to protect us from out-of-control governments that oppress us. Ooh, it's up to 19.26 now, is it, Jeremy? Yeah, mining stocks are probably going to take a big hit, as are oil. By the way, I actually looked at my investments today because I needed to go in and get the tax documents, and I took a hit. Yeah, one of my accounts, I'm down 9%. So, yeah. Well, I'm a trillionaire in Zimbabwe, so what's your point? Payday at 19 Rand a dollar. Arctic's coming through with some big cash there. Been raining for 3 days in Pretoria, a little less than that. Well, we know. Did you guys see what's going on at the Val Dam? Jan van der Veel warned us about that. Mary Kearney has just subscribed. Thank you, Mary, for your subscription. Yeah, he warned us. Crude oil below 60, first time in 4 years. Yeah, there you go. No, you won't see it at the pumps for some time, Alfonso, because the government sets the price, which is just bogus. We'll see it here very quickly. We'll see it here very quickly. Yep. Helena de Polo. Also, with the euro, it's already hit almost 21 for the rand. Yep. Time. Defund Vike, it might be. It might be too soon. I don't know. No, I don't know Bitcoin. I don't do crypto. Which presents a problem for me. That's not one I'm not going to share, but it presents a problem for me. Yeah, and I heard about the whole, not in the Bloemfontein Dam, but in Bloemhof, the one up in Loos. Where's it at? There's some very scary things going on with dams. This is because they haven't been maintained. This is because this is typical Africa. You hand Africa over to Africans, and Africans, build it and forget about it. They don't maintain things, and shit all falls apart. No, that's not why the U.S. Civil War started, Xavier. The U.S. Civil War started because President Lincoln was a Republican, and the Republican Party existed for one reason. Does anybody know the one reason why the Republican Party was... Oh, your family's downstream. That's terrible, Madeline. Does anyone know the reason why? Well, the Val Dam, they now say it's going to be a 100-year flood because of how much water they're letting out. It's overlapped 107%. Now it's 109% of capacity. It's flowing over the top of the dam, apparently. I don't know. I haven't seen it flowing over the top. That's just reporting. Does anyone know one reason why the Republican Party was founded? It wasn't founded to expand America. Wasn't founded to do this. It was founded for one reason only. Oh, the War of Independence. Well, it was about taxation without representation, not banning of guns, no. Okay. Answer, doing it purposely took command of the system away. Yeah, it's tough, I know. I reported on that extensively inside the intelligence community before it happened, when it happened, and after it happened. Yep, the private weapons, now security. And you're all getting it correct. The reason the Republican Party was founded is for one reason, abolition. It was a political party founded on the sole basis its primary mission was to end slavery. So... the South can claim that they fought the war for states' rights, and that's quite all right. States are supposed to be sovereign, are supposed to have rights. And indeed, there were states' rights involved, but that's not why the war occurred. The war occurred because the southern states wanted to maintain their feudal system of slavery. Because at the time, it was still profitable, although within a couple decades, it would have been outmoded and would have died of its own volition. But the southern states wanted to keep slavery. And when Lincoln was elected, they decided, South Carolina decided, screw this, we're leaving the Union. Well, there's no mechanism in the Constitution to allow for secession from the Union, but someone tried it. After 70 plus years of a Union, South Carolina seceded, quickly followed by several other southern states, and then that's how it all started. So it was about states' rights, but the real reason the states' rights is the states wanted to keep slavery. The ironic thing is that 97% of Southerners didn't own slaves. 97%. The irony is also is that black and white people own slaves. Free blacks own slaves. Yep. Unbelievable. To push woke ideology. There was no woke ideology in 1856. Republicans ran for president. No. To end slavery. That's what it was all about. After 40 years living in South Africa, I fully understand why there was slavery. What would happen to the refugee program if all diplomatic ties were broken? Nothing, Danny. How? I mean, we don't need diplomatic ties with South Africa to have a refugee program. We have diplomatic ties with Somalia. We have an embassy there now. We did. We were taking refugees in Somalia. Yeah. I mean, we don't need an embassy to take refugees. The embassy doesn't do the refugee program. It's the PRM that does it. That's a bureau within the State Department that handles it. That's why people, contact the embassies. It isn't always the best answer. That's why when we started with this, I said, I don't know if you should contact the embassy. All you're going to do is piss them off. And then they create an email and said, send it here. Well, then send it there. Yep. Stock market needs to crash some more so interest rates will drop. Well, the interest rates have nothing to do with the stock market. You're wrong there, John. The stock market is driven by a number of things. The interest rates are driven by a number of things, not the least of which is how much credit people are looking for. The U.S. government is currently spending $2 trillion more than it has, and therefore it sucks up $2 trillion of credit from the credit markets. And with that money not available, it pushes up the rates. And prices have gone up. Inflation is driving the interest rates higher because they're trying to cool the economy down. So the argument is that if you raise interest rates, it makes borrowing more expensive. If you can't borrow, you can't expand business. If you can't expand business, you don't hire more people. If you don't hire more people, you don't have more wages, higher wages. If you don't have higher wages, then prices flatline. If prices flatline, you can cool inflation by keeping interest rates high. And then as inflation tames, you bring the interest rates back down. That's the theory. And sometimes it works. But no, the stock market isn't the reason for the interest rates. Interest rates are high because the government is borrowing too much money and because of inflation. That's why. Northern manufacturers didn't want the agrarian South to trade raw materials with other nations. What raw materials? What raw materials? All they had were agricultural materials. The South wasn't a mining exporting region at the time. All they exported was cotton, for the most part. A little bit of rice. Where do the ideological roots from Democrats come from? Well, they come from Jacksonian era. Andrew Jackson was the first Democratic president. He was a son of a bitch. He was a racist. He was a cheat. He was a thief. He was a drunkard. He was a filthy, slimy piece of human sludge. But he was a Democrat. The first Democrat. He stole the land from the Cherokee and Choctaw and Seminole Indians and forced them to march in the dead of winter to their death to the Oklahoma Territory, which is guaranteed to them into perpetuity. And of course, we stole that from them 60 years later. Christina just subscribed. Thank you for that. Oh, tobacco. Yeah, I'm sorry. Colton, tobacco. Tobacco and cotton, yeah, that's it. Well, we don't grow tobacco and cotton in the North, so I don't understand your argument saying the North didn't want them shipping this stuff out. Why would the North not want them shipping out? Because they want it for themselves? They couldn't consume that much tobacco, or they couldn't consume that much cotton. I don't know what that is, Xavier. YouTube showing President Trump. I've never seen that. And the South African government stopped the USA from flying savages out. Of course they can, Jeremy. Of course they can. They can stop anybody from leaving the country. But do you really think they're capable of that? Grumpy Gamer says, guess who got sponsored for a membership? Cool. Somebody got you. Thank you. Cycling Journeys, good morning to you. Okay. Cyril popped in and left. Cyril Schoolman, good morning. All have a safe day. Well, thanks for being here. Appreciate it. 263 people currently, just 151 likes. You guys can do better than that. By the way, last night was epic. We went for 4 hours. It was exhausting. And I got spanked. Spank. I had 9 songs that were copyright blocked. I had to remove 9 songs from that video. So that video was like 3 hours and 43 minutes. After all the songs were taken out, let's see how long the video is now. It actually wanted to be more than 9 songs, but yesterday's video is, wow, 2 hours and 52 minutes. It took almost an hour out from music. Can we play that much music last night, or did they just delete that much? Yeah, so it was blocked for most of the day. People couldn't watch it. So now 337 more people been able to watch it. So you want to watch last night's stream minus the music? You can. It's up. Oh my goodness. Went from having, let me see, I had a streak of 1, 2, 3, 4 videos in a row, 4 streams in a row where we had over 10,000 views, 10,000, 16,000, 25,000, 26,000. And then we had 7,000. Last night we were 4,600 because it was blocked for so long. Oh, well. We got a little carried away with the music last night. Oh, sometimes you just do that. U.S. took only 2% of black slave trade and was involved for 25 years as an independent nation. Most blacks in the U.S. are not slave descendants. Most slave descendants don't support reparations. Well, most blacks in America actually are more European than they are African, which is also the irony. Trail of Tears, correct all people. So what happens when you play German music? It wasn't the German music did it. It was freaking Snugkop. Rock from Aristic. Rock from Aristic did me in, man. Imagine if I played Delicious. I would have really got in trouble. Yeah, it's not the German music got me in trouble, Arctic. Those are just copyright claims. The thing got shut down and blocked because of Snotkop and because of Brillantjes from DJ Osava. No, you don't want me singing anything. That's why we switched to that last night. Well, it's there, Loretta. It's there, minus the music. It's all back. So all my comments in our chat last night, it's all back there, but not the music. It's all gone. Just so you know, Buck fans know All Blacks were robbed in the last World Cup. Okay. Sure they were. Yeah. So were the French. So were the English. They were all robbed. Well, Amelia, what's going on with the U.S. military in Botswana? Jack shit. The U.S. military is not in Botswana. Are you listening to the Sightlanders? Stop listening to propaganda. The U.S. military is not in Botswana. Oh, dear God. I get a kick out of that. Nothing going on with the U.S. military in Botswana. They're not there. Now, that doesn't mean there isn't a local team with 2 or 3 or 4 people coming or an exercise, something like that periodically, but Botswana, the military's not there. That's another lie being spread by people that don't know what the hell they're talking about in South Africa. There's a lot of those people in South Africa. Yep. Northern States Manufacturing Center wanted the cotton to make finished goods. Well, they sold the cotton to them, Holden. There was no shortage of cotton in the North. What are you talking about? Dude, where are you getting this from? There was no shortage of cotton. The reason why there was so much cotton is because there was so much demand. And they produced enough for the northern states and for the English textile mills. I don't know what you're coming at, man. That's right. On April 6, 1652, Jan van Riebeck arrived in the Cape of Good Hope with a larger fleet than South Africa has today. It's true. U.S. black population is very small to immigration. Laws beyond change 6.5 and block the post 18. Yes, Rebecca, it was in Snookup. That's when it happened. I was good until I played Snookup. The Tubes was okay, but then see those other ones, they don't have the automatic thing kick in. But this music, the South African artists who have these agents, they're really demented and demonic. They think they're really important, so they just give you this stuff. And no, I was able to come back. If you'd hung around, I lost 100 people. They just disappeared. I don't know why y'all disappeared. Just wait. We were still there. People were chatting. If people were still chatting, the stream is still live. Stream was live, but the video was blocked. So anyway, came back after about a minute and a half, and so we finished up the stream a little bit later than Rebecca. But 100 people left. 100 people just gave up and left. So all people says I have great taste. Yeah, thank you. Yeah, well, the Sightlanders are wrong, Madeline. Where's the proof? Have they shown you videos? Have they spoken to the military in Botswana? No. And how do the Sightlanders know they're in Botswana? Do they operate in Botswana? And where in Botswana? Tebe-Batswa Air Base? See, that's the problem with people that tell bullshit. They have nothing to back their bullshit up. See, the problem is I know better. And so when people expose themselves as frauds like that, now, by the way, that's not Vena du Toit. That's not the Sightlander Civil Defense. Don't confuse it. It's Gustav Muller's Sightlanders. I saw the video. Now, and when people expose themselves with bullshit, then you know better. A lot of people I trust or at least believe in, and then I find out they're full of shit later on. So anyway. What the hell, Danny? You're a butcher for 31 years and you hurt your own hand? Good God, Danny. Did you slip? Oh, geez. Thank God they saved your hands. We could defeat the South African Navy with mortars. What's your prediction of that now after everything going on? It's not good, Loretta. I'm not making predictions because I don't want to frighten people. When you get an offer to go there, it is so that you can get away from the ANC and massive stupidity. You go look after yourself, start a new life. Okay? Real Wesley Smith says that makes sense. What makes sense? The Tariff Act of 1828. What about it? Jeez, I'm glad I saved the tenants. Woo. You told me from the start a lot of those oaks are full of cock. Are you talking to me, Arctic? Yes, Ramaphosa says business not dictate what the ANC does. Then straight afterwards said they're fixing the unemployment crisis. They're not fixing the unemployment. Government doesn't create jobs. People think government creates jobs are just leftist morons. How does government create jobs? By stealing from the productive and giving jobs, patronage to other people. Government doesn't make widgets. Government doesn't build things. Government doesn't design things. The one exception to that is government can do research and does do research, so sometimes that's helpful. Dear sir, you are much appreciated. Well, thank you, Reith Nell. Thank you very kindly. Oh, yeah, Wesley said that makes sense about video. Well, it wasn't banned. It was blocked. It wasn't banned. It was blocked. So I took the video. See, YouTube gives you an editing function. So I edited the music out. It just took me all day because I was busy. You got to wait like 40 minutes to an hour. It used to be you had to wait a whole day for them to take some. Now at least it's 40 minutes to an hour. So if I had 9 songs, imagine how long it took me to get rid of all those 9 songs. What I did first is go after the songs that blocked. And that was 5 of those. Once the songs were blocked, I got rid of the ones that were partially blocked. That was 2 of those. And then I got the ones that were copyright claims. That was 2 more. So, yep. I don't recall that conversation, Arctic, and I'm not talking about Gustav Muller. I mean, that's not who I associated with. Associated with Vena du Toit. I'm just going down the shitter. Yep. This doesn't dictate. Yeah, marching towards oblivion. That's what's going on. That's why I made the song, folks, and I hope you like the song. That's why I made the song. Yep, because South Africa is marching towards oblivion. Yeah, the audience is growing every second here. Thank you for that. We're to 1,006 views. I never said you disrespect any of my views, Arctic, or my guest. That's not you. That's other people that do that. Right. Anyway. Anyway, I did get some news here that I wanted to take a look at. Breitbart, something on with UCT. I have to look into this too. Breitbart says UCT launches witch hunt after Breitbart News expose of funding collapse after the anti-Israel boycott. So when UCT held anti-Israel boycotts, then people stopped giving them money. Philip Furry, welcome. Thank you for becoming a subscriber. There it is. This is by Joel Pollack. Who else? That's from 18 March. It's just now getting attention now. It's an old story, but it got attention today. I never saw this story. I don't read Breitbart very often. It's right wing. Or so we're told. So we're told. Give me a second. Something real quick here. All right. So, just checking on something there. Government produces nothing. It's tax-based service employer. Exactly. It steals from the productive. Good morning. Well, Rama Snake did say that they will boil the frog slowly. They have their tentacles and everything. Yeah. Hey, Taboho's back. Welcome, Taboho. First off, your unfamiliarity with American politics, and I'll use the term unfamiliarity, is entertaining. People are protesting USA. People are always protesting USA something. Why are they protesting? Well, they're protesting because they're evil leftist bastards for the most part. Look at who's protesting. They're all white people, privileged white people who have life easy and think that it's the responsibility of the taxpayers, not them, to fund the world and to provide patronage jobs for their friends because they all work for the government. Government contractors make a ton of money. So they're the ones protesting by and large. Teachers, purple-haired losers, nose ring crowd. They're protesting. And will Trump finish his term? Why won't Trump finish his term? You have something, you know somebody you don't know, Taboho? Why won't Trump finish his term? Protesters don't determine who the president is. Voters do. Will Elon Musk have to be expelled from Doge? Well, Elon Musk is only on board for 120 days. That's what the law allows the president to do for that special role. So Elon Musk is leaving after 120 days, so I don't really understand what you're getting at there. See, just people just wholly uninformed about what's going on. Musk will be gone after 120 days. Your internet's full of nonsense. My internet's full of nonsense. They're all full of nonsense. How close to collapse is South Africa? I mean, well, it is collapsed. It is an anarchy, but it is collapsed. I mean, you can't get mail. Can you get mail delivered? Nope. You can't get electricity. Can't get electricity. Can you get the cops to respond when you broke it? Nope. No law enforcement. No postal service. No mail. I mean, no electricity. No law enforcement. No mail. No electricity. No roads. What more do you need for it to be collapsed? What more do you need for it to be collapsed? Russell Copeland's house was robbed for the third time in 2 weeks. Police still haven't responded. See, there you go. Is South Africa going to collapse? It already has collapsed. It's just continuing along. Yeah, the dams are about to burst and flood and kill people. Yep. Destroy lives and homes. Yep. 27,000 murders in a country of 63 million people. South Africa has collapsed. It's completely collapsed. It's just continuing on its inertia. Eventually, the inertia runs out. An object in motion tends to stay in motion unless acted upon by other forces. Well, the other forces are crime, corruption, chaos, and patronage, which are slowing down the ship. But South Africa's collapsed. No water, no electricity, no roads, no rails, no ports. HIV, tuberculosis, crime out the wazoo, patronage, theft, racism. It's collapsed, folks. South Africa is a failed state. And I've been saying that for 2 years. South Africa is a failed state. It meets the definition of a failed state. It's just living off the teat of what once was. Suckling desperately. Why do you think they want to raise the VAT? They've run out of money to steal. Same thing Mugabe did in 2000. He ran out of ways to steal money. He drained the economy with illicit, corruption by the government. Nothing left to steal, so they went for the farms. Yep. They want online news banned? Yeah, also what the fluff. Yeah, a lot of those people are actually paid protesters. Good point. They're actually paid protesters. We see this. And they're violent too. And the police just look the other way. We saw what happened. Was it Turning Point USA's stand was attacked and ripped down, and the police just stood there and watched it. Oh, Peter, that's nothing. There's places that have no water for months, years. Yeah. No water, no electricity, no law enforcement, dams collapsing, roads undrivable, ports failing. Healthcare system's broken completely. It's collapsed. It has collapsed. There's still pockets of normalcy, and that's where all the blue-haired leftists live. The nose ring crowd. The delusional people. Nobody cares about the news over here, Michael. Nobody cares about South Africa. Dude, I'm sorry. I appreciate your interest, but nobody knows or cares about South Africa. You guys got to get through your head. It doesn't matter to the average American, especially now. I mean, with prices going up because of tariffs and goods maybe not available, people are more concerned about that. I just ordered new electronics. I've ordered new microphones. So when I interview people, the one I had, which was corded, I broke it. It works, but it's not the best quality anyway. So I bought a new one. Hopefully it's better quality. I bought it before the price goes up. Yeah, state hospitals are broken. South Africa is a collapsed state, has been. Yep, they took 400 years to build it from nothing. ANC got it all, and they destroyed it in 30 years. Well, they're slow. Zimbabwe did it in 20 years. They destroyed the country in 20 years. And actually, technically, Zimbabwe restored the country for 7 years. Then it took them 13 years to destroy it. Ravani, the average person on the planet doesn't know what the South African flag looks like. Adam Schiff, Trump is wrecking our economy. Well, Adam Schiff is a serial liar and should be in prison. So we don't really care what Adam Schiff has to say. Media is failing. You know, they say Trump is unpopular, but his popularity is at 53%. Yeah, I didn't see the video. I read the article. I read the article. Well, it's in my video. You guys aren't watching my videos, man. It's in my video. I talked about that. Trump says tariffs will stay until the trade deficit disappears. He said he would not quickly reverse last week's steep tariffs, which have sparked pushback and roiled the markets. Hundreds of billions of dollars a year we lose to China. And unless we solve that problem, I'm not going to make a deal. He said he was willing to deal with China, but they have to solve their surplus. Wow. On Sunday, the U.S. government said they'd heard from more than 50 nations looking for ways to get out of the tariffs. Yep. Trump said spoken officials in Europe and Asia that they are dying to make a deal. Wow. So we'll see how it goes. Yeah, in the meantime, stocks have taken a big hit. These tariffs be bad. Oh, the tariffs are disastrous for South Africa, Michael. They're absolutely disastrous. I've learned more about South Africa in a short time, listening and reading comments. Okay, Holden. Max Murray, morning, if possible. We'd love to settle in a traditionally red state. Any suggestions, please? We're very conservative. If you're very conservative, then you're going to live in a place that's very conservative. Suggestions? I don't know. I don't know where you live. I don't know what your life is like. If it's just simply based on being conservative, you can live all the country. Charmaine Curry just joined us. Thank you. Yep. The tariffs are destructive for South Africa. 145,000 jobs in the auto industry will be lost, most likely, due to this, or harmed seriously. And then all the ancillary jobs in the places that build parts and deliver those parts, and all the food and all the rental places people rent, and all the restaurants and all the shopping centers they shop at. When those 145,000 jobs go away, it's a lot more than 145,000 jobs. Those 145,000 jobs support 145,000 wage earners. And those wage earners typically have 2 to 4 people in their household. So you take 145,000, we're talking 600,000, 800,000 people affected by the fact that the ANC are a bunch of asshats. Yeah, the Midwest is fine. Ohio, Indiana, those are good places. Tennessee. I don't know why you guys love Arkansas. They have the dumbest population in the country. Only Mississippi has lower education standards. This workers say they can't work because they're not getting overtime. Well, they shouldn't be working overtime unless there's a crisis, unless they have to work for that. I don't have medical aid. I went to the free hospital in December. They couldn't help me because they didn't have money. See? South Africa's collapsed. Greetings from Komiki. Welcome to you. Where do hillbillies stay? In the hills. Hillbilly is a slur that people have taken on, just like the N-word. People own it. So I don't know how you answer that question. Christine Livingston, welcome to you. Yep, they don't need overtime. They're on lunch for 5 to 8 hours. That's true. Debola says U.S. tariffs are not bad, only for South Africa. Even in the U.S. now, people smuggle eggs like Mexico from drugs. What are you talking about? People smuggle eggs. I can't. It's right less than a kilometer from my house in the giant supermarket. I don't need to smuggle eggs. $3.79 a dozen. Twice what they were before Biden. Yes, Wyoming is conservative. We're not telling you I'm going to go there, John. Shh. Shh. Wyoming is not for you. Wyoming. Look, John, I got to go somewhere. All these damn people are settling around here. We got freaking people from all over the world settling here now, changing the character of my neighborhood, and I don't like it, so I'm moving. And I'm going to Wyoming. You guys don't need Wyoming. It's not for you. These are not the droids you're looking for. Wyoming is not for you. Move to New Jersey. Wollongong, Australia. Hey, Martin, how's it going, man? Wow, it's what time of day is it over there? It is currently in Sydney. It's 2:00. Perth is 12:00. So you're somewhere in between there. Broken hip. Good Lord. Don't mind the comments. I'm proud inhabitant of the hills. Well, hey, I don't take being called a hillbilly as an insult and slur because I'm not a hillbilly. I'm an Appalachian. I'll give you that. But I'm pure Anglo-Saxon Appalachian, not mixed with any other folks. Would rather identify as a redneck hillbilly than ANC Cater. Well, I think we all probably would agree with that. Les says, let's send Juju. No, we don't need him here. Look for my tent in Wyoming. Charles, brother, if you put a tent in Wyoming, you're going to be screwed. Those winds howl. Saw on Google people from USA complaining about price going up, people losing jobs because Elon Musk. So I'm asking if it's true or false. Well, to boho, egg prices are up, but it has nothing to do with Donald Trump or Elon Musk. The Biden administration ordered the slaughter of 60 million hens. 60 million hens. They destroyed our poultry industry over a bogus allegation that there was bird flu. So they just slaughtered all the birds. So there's a shortage of hens to lay eggs. Until we can produce enough hens to lay eggs, prices will be up. It's nothing to do with Elon Musk. It's nothing to do with Donald Trump. The prices have actually come down because Trump's come in office. The demand has gone down too. So that's why people are freaking out over eggs. Stop eating them. If there's no demand, go without eggs for a few weeks. I don't eat eggs very often. People are losing jobs. Of course they are. They're pigs living off the government teat. They're losing their jobs in the government. No one else is losing their jobs because of Elon Musk. Unemployment, the number of people employed in America went up in March. Economists forecast 130,000 job gain. It was 238,000. Over 100,000 more jobs were created than the economists predicted. And that's when people are being fired all over the place. So, yes, people are losing their jobs. People lose jobs every day to boho. People whine about losing their jobs every day. Even when the unemployment's at 4% and the economy is robust at 3.5% GDP growth, people lose jobs. It's the nature of a marketplace. People bitch and moan about every day. To boho, the reason you're hearing about this is because the media want to paint a picture that's negative. It's not like that at all. It's not like that at all. Government jobs aren't real jobs. They don't add anything. They don't create environment. They don't create economic growth. Talk of a 90,000 active duty force be involved in the force. 90,000. Now that's impossible. There's no way we could have 90,000 military. Just impossible. We have 28,000 in Germany. We have 30,000 in Italy. We have another 30,000 in Japan. That's already your 90,000. Who's going to man the forts and the bases back here? It's not going to happen. Maybe a cut of 90,000 in the active force, or maybe I misunderstood what you're saying. All the small dwellings raise their own chickens never went a day without their eggs. Exactly, Ravani. People who had their own chickens never slaughtered their chickens and they still have eggs. We used to have chickens. I was a farmer, 17 acres, dairy farm. We had chickens, we had pigs, turkeys, ducks, rabbits, horses. But the dairy farms, and we got all our eggs from our chickens. Every morning I go collect eggs. If you sit on your ass all day and get free money from the government, suddenly someone comes along, takes that away from you, you don't mind. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, Tiboho. So let's just do this. I'm going to help you out, Tiboho, okay? So you got to stop reading the media and not thinking. You got to think for yourself. I'm glad you're here, Tiboho, to ask the questions. Well, let's just go look for jobs. Number of jobs available in USA. The Bureau of Labor Statistics says there's 7.6 million available in February. As of April 1st, the number of job openings was little change at 7.6 million in February, according to Bureau of Labor Statistics. Over the month, hires and separations were 5.4 million and 5.3 million. Within separations, 3.2 million people quit their job. Layoffs and discharges, 1.8 million people were laid off or discharged. That's the average. So there's 7.6 million jobs open. Separations include quits, layoffs, and discharges, and other separations, generally voluntary separations. Yep. So there you go. 7.6 million jobs that the Bureau of Labor Statistics is aware of, but there's more jobs than that. That's just what they know about. Internal discussions are exploring trimming the force to between 360 and 400,000 troops down. I don't know what you're talking about, Holden. The U.S. military is 1.2 million people. There's no 420,000 troops. That's nonsense. There's 1.2, 1.3 million people in active duty. And then the reserve force is another 800,000. Yeah. USA, the biggest non talked about is the billions sent to NGOs. So, Bo, you got to think for yourself, man. All of you got to think for yourself. I mean, things are just implausible. Ask yourselves this question, if America is so terrible and systemically racist, why is everybody desperate to get here? Because it's not. How many jobs in Wyoming? 0. There aren't any jobs in Wyoming, John. No jobs. Let me just check. Jobs available. Jobs. Number of jobs. Number of jobs available in Wyoming. Let's see. Okay, let's see. Yep, nothing, not a single job. No, there's no work to be found in Wyoming. Not a job. Not a single job. No. Fake news. Fake news. Job openings. January 2025, Wyoming had 16,000 job openings. Okay, folks, what's the population of Wyoming? 550,000? Let's check out the current population. Wyoming. Okay. $587,000. So there's 587,000 in Wyoming, the lowest populated state, by the way, in the Union, one of the largest physically states. So 587,000, and there's 16,000 jobs available. So let's just do the math on that. Now remember, there's kids and there's elderly who are too old to work. So I don't know what the workforce is, but just the population, 16,000 jobs divided by 587,000. So that's 3%. 3% of the population could get a job right now. But when you take out the elderly and the infirm and the children, which is 1/3, then the population drops down. It's much a larger figure. So lots of jobs in Wyoming. Shh. Oh, he's back. He's back. I only gave you a timeout. I didn't block you on the channel. Let's see if you behave tonight. Honest question. What's up with you in Wyoming? What do you mean, what's up with me in Wyoming? What do you mean, Reg? What's up with me in Wyoming? What's your question? Trucking industry is rolling. We've got thousands of Sikhs who've come here in the trucking industry. Yep, lots of jobs in the trucking industry. I'm getting the last job left in Wyoming, says Charles. They eat cats in Wyoming. Yeah, that's it, Alfonso. They eat cats in Wyoming. They eat dogs and cats. South Africa is a modern socialist blueprint for all countries with a white identity. It's being rolled out to them only. Have non-Caucasian countries gone through what presently occurring? What? I don't even know what you're getting at now, real Trumper. Yeah, more jobs are opening up all the time because the illegals are fleeing. There are a lot of self-deportations going on. Yeah, that's all right, Madeline. Arctic says, do a Google search and find out what the requirements are to be a broker. What are you, a real estate broker? What did she ask? Insurance broker. How difficult it will be to get myself work. There's insurance companies everywhere. If you go to Texas, Madeline, I'd suggest you go apply to USAA, United Services Automobile Association. It's a veterans founded company by 6 Army officers who are tired of getting screwed in insurance whenever they move from state to state for assignments. So I'd recommend you check out USAA. They're fantastic. They're a great insurance company, and they're all over the country and all over the world. So yeah, they have offices in Frankfurt and elsewhere. USAA, yep, it's been my insurer since the 1980s. Not always happy with them, but they're my insurer. Really not happy with their charging my home insurance right now. It's outrageous. But yeah, insurance is easy. It's easy. It's a big market. You just have to be qualified. Charles Boyson just got it. Maybe I've covered the topic. I saw all the yeah, I talked about of this weekend. I've talked about it. The protests. It's nothing. It's the media's blowing out of proportion. I talked about it. Was it last night? Yeah. I mean, the protest. Look who's in the protest. Let me just see. What was it? What did they call us? The day of what? Forget the damn name. They gave it a name. I pay no attention to these clowns. So USA hands off protest. Okay, USA hands off protest. Okay, let's see. Let's take a look at images of these protests, okay? And what are you going to notice about these protests, okay? Okay. I'm not even cherry picking these images. I'm just going with what I can find, okay? You're going to see one very clear thing about all these protests. First off, there aren't a lot of people at most of them. Some have big numbers. Most don't have numbers. All right, what do you see about this? What do you see? Here's the first one, okay? What do you see there? Angry white women. A bunch of Karens. Hands off our schools. Screw you. The Department of Education's in our schools. We want them out. We want your unions and your blue-haired leftists out of our schools. So there you go. Notice that? There's a trend. Look at this image. Let's blow it up so you can see a little bit better. What do you see here? Do you see any people of color? Do you see a single black person? Do you see a single Asian? I see one Asian. All I see are a bunch of angry, privileged, whiny little shithead leftists. Keep your hands off of Medicare. Medicare is not being touched. Social Security is not being. These people are delusional. They're protesting things that don't exist. No one's cutting Medicare. No one's cutting Medicaid. No one's cut veteran services. Those are all lies. And the first time there's a hiccup in anything, ooh, it's been cut. It's a lie. I can still get my disability check. I can still get a medical appointment when I want with the Veterans Administration. They still answer the phone when I call about my mortgage. These are all lies. Lies, lies, lies. Perpetrated by whiny leftists. Here's another one, folks. Let's look and see who it is. Ooh, look at all the people of color, man. Okay, that's not working. Hang on a second. Look at all the people of color. Ooh, oh wait, there are no people of color there. Not a single black person. Hands off. Stop the coup. What coup? It's a democracy. We won the election. These whiny little bitches can't deal with losing an election. They steal elections, but when they lose elections, they can't handle it. Stop the coup. What coup? We won an election. Our house on fire. No, it's not. Everything's being done legally. Get over yourself. Hands off. Here's a bunch more of them. Look at this. What do you see here? Well, you can't really see the faces there, but trust me, there's nothing but angry white people there. Whiny white people. Here's some more whiny white people. Look at these Karens. They're all baby boomers too, with time on their hands to get money for hanging out in D.C. and going to protest to prove what morons they are. There you go. Look at that. Do you see any people of color? Do you see any people under the age of 35? Do you see people under the age of 60 there? I don't. Bunch of whiny, diaper-wearing, namby-pamby, leftist crybaby biatches. And here's some more of them. Look at that. All white people. Look at that. Look at that. Whiny white people. Mm-hmm. Look. More pigmentationally challenged crowd. Hands off our Social Security, our bodies, and healthcare. You fucking morons. No one's touching Social Security. No one's touching Social Security. Morons. Oh, look. More no people of color. And except for the chubby dude in the front, who looks pretty effeminate, carrying the flag upside down, pretending America's in distress, the rest of them are collecting Social Security. Bunch of whiny baby crybaby. Whiny baby crybaby. Ooh, I found a black dude who looks like he swallowed a buffalo. Check it out. There's a black dude on the left-hand side holding up the sign. Looks like he swallowed a buffalo. The rest of them are all on Social Security. Look at them. I mean, some of these people are 2 inches from the grave. So I answered your question. That's right. I tell people every day Wyoming sucks. I never give fake news. Good morning from Pretoria, Yolanda. So, Charles Boyson, there you go. Do you see any people of color? One black dude. This isn't America. This is leftist America. These are the same people that happily watched the country burn and took no action about it. These are the people that when Biden stole an election, these are the people when Biden stole from the people of America. These are the people when Biden took payoffs and did quid pro quo to give the Chinese access to our intelligence. And when he gave the Ukrainians access to our defense establishment, they said nothing. People are smuggling eggs. We made homemade bread. Smuggling eggs, please. Okay. Speaking of which, I finally have a job interview today after looking for months now. Good luck, Mr. QB. Common sense. No work in Wyoming. Nope. The atheist belt, Boston, New York, Philadelphia, D.C., bunch of atheists in there. And just outside of it, bunch of good people. USA is great. Been with them for decades. Yeah, well, they're not great. They were great, but they lost their way when they decided to lie about the vote when we were asked whether we wanted junior enlisted to be involved in the program. There's a reason why it was restricted to officers. Where officers, by and large, tend to be more mature, more experienced, less of a risk. They're not doing crazy shit like junior enlisted are. Junior enlisted drive with the rates, but they kept it as a separate holding company. Then they eventually merged it and then pick on more risk. So yeah, my insurance keeps going up, even though I've not had an accident, never made a claim on my home. It's becoming too expensive. And USA is not the company it once was, but it's still better than most. Can you assist me with contact numbers who to speak to? No, Madeline, I can't. How can I assist you with contact numbers who to speak to? For what? For an insurance license? No, I don't know. Look, I mean, I don't know. You're not in America. If you're in America, where are you going? Every state's different. Every state has different laws to govern how these activities are done. Real estate, insurance industry, financial services, they all have different rules, different laws. Many similar. And sometimes your qualifications go from state to state, but you got to go qualify. I mean, look, if you know where you are going to live, then you can look at insurance companies in that state, find out what the requirement is, if there's a test to take, if you qualify. I mean, I don't deal with the insurance industry other than to pay for it because I have to. I'm sorry, Madeline. That's pretty easy. Do a Google search. Illegal dressing, that is vital for jobs. Okay. I wish I could help you, Madeline. I mean, I think I have helped you with that information. Heiner Schoenfeld gave a 350 rand super chat. Thank you for that, brother. Okay, appreciate that. USA have to be a veteran or parents. No, you don't have to be a veteran. You have to be a serving military member or a veteran, or be the offspring of a veteran. Yep. Used to be, had to be an officer. Used to be. I lost a lot of confidence with USA when they sold off their financial services. I had a asset management account that I set up with them, which had mutual funds and had a discount brokerage where I got no advice. I just took everything myself, plus a money market account tied to it and a checking account. And then they just spun it off, sold it to Victory Capital, and then the guy sold the brokerage to Schwab. Very annoying. Caused me all kinds of problems. Very frustrating. Mockingbird Media is fear-mongering, trying to turn people against Trump. I don't know what Mockingbird Media is. Light Rain's neighbors leave a cooler at the end of their drive. 12 eggs, $3, leave the money in the cooler. And they've not talked about egg bandits. Yep, because honest people live in there. If you gave the NC 100 chickens, they will have a feast that night. The next day, they'll blame white monopoly capital for the lack of eggs. Spot on. Spot on. Well, maybe, James. The other thing might do is that you give them 100 chickens tonight, they'll sell 40 to Chicken Licken and KFC, then they'll blame white monopoly capital. Most of the protesters are for the same group. Yeah, Pink Cats, Antifa. Yep. Hey, Yolandi. Safa envies us live like that. Well, I can leave the keys in my door. I can leave my car unlocked. I don't, but I can. I don't have to worry about walking the streets. My kids don't have to worry about being assaulted or shot or raped or kidnapped here on the streets. No, not a problem. Not a problem. Yeah, no, they look like the losers that were at Woodstock. Yep. They look like a bunch of, Grateful Dead hangouters. Loren, welcome to you. Ruvani Fribus, Antifa are white supremacists. They are. I think they are. I don't disagree with that. All right, rent a crowd. Yep. Taking seriously national organization, serious amount of money. Who's bankrolling this? The usual suspects. Soros pay protesters. People think if there's a lot of money, people... Well, yeah, I know that because I've gone to these events and I ask people, what are you here for? They didn't know. It's like the January 6th thing. There were people there that were trying to incite violence. I'm like, what are you doing? Trump. Like, what are you talking about? What policies Trump you support? They didn't know. They think they're Woodstock. Yep. Well, you can do it in some cities like Rain. You can do it in Columbia, Maryland. You Tom McDonald for South Africa. There you go. That's the people who create the fake news and believe their own lies. Asylum seekers paid to be there. I doubt he's an asylum seeker. No. Retirement age has always been... retirement age is 65, but are you talking about Social Security? Social Security is 69 for me. Okay, when can I draw Social Security? 67 or 69? Okay, full retirement age for me is 67. It's been that way my entire life. So I don't know what you're getting there and who's telling you that, but they're lying. I can start drawing benefits at 62, but I get a greatly reduced amount. So I can draw my full Social Security at 67, not before then. That's always been the case. Retirement age is traditionally 65 years of age. For the military, it's 20 years. So if you come in at 17, you retire at 37, but you don't get that much money. So I don't know where you're getting that news from, Rakes. That sounds like fake news to me. Fake news to me. My entire life has been 67. Now, if it goes to 69, now we're talking something. If you're born in 1960 or later, your retirement age is 67. Yep. So you take it at 62, 67, or you get a bonus if you wait till 70. So if you take Social Security, you don't get 100% until you're 67 years of age. If you take it at 62, you get 70%. If you wait till you're 70, you get more. So if you're born before 1957 or earlier, you've hit your full retirement age. At 58, you retire 66 years and 8 months. 59, you retire 66 years and 10 months. And if you were born 66 years later, you retire 67. We've been screwed for years. So I don't know where you're getting that information from, Riggs. Tabola says soldiers are excluded on Social Security and health care after coming back from Afghanistan. People are crying. I saw an interview with a soldier crying and he's traumatized. What the hell are you talking about? U.S. soldiers not excluded from Social Security. And nobody who came back from Afghanistan is eligible for Social Security. There's nobody who served in Afghanistan who could get... Even if you served 20 years ago and you were a senior NCO, you would have had 20 years and you would have been 40. Now you'd be 60. You're not even eligible. So I don't know where you're getting this from, Tabo. Where are you reading this bullshit? There are no soldiers who are eligible for Social Security and ineligible for health care. Okay, see, what kind of bullshit is that? First off, I'm a combat veteran of multiple combat tours. Not only am I eligible for Social Security by serving as a veteran, I can go to any VA hospital. I'm also disabled and get free health care because I've reached the threshold for free health care. But I don't get eye care and I don't get dental care. Everything else I get. Any veteran who served honorably can go to the VA and get health care from the Veterans Administration. Any veteran. Any veteran. Now, the question is how you pay for it. If you have a service-related disability, then it's free for that issue. If you're considered 50% more or 50% or more disabled, you get 100% health care. Now, you only get dental care if you got shot in the mouth and your mouth is messed up from combat or something like that. You only get eye care if you lost an eye or your eyes were damaged as a result of combat. Otherwise, you get everything else. You got cancer, you get free care if you're over 50%. So I don't know what you're talking about, Tiboho. I don't know where you're reading this. See, people put all kinds of bullshit or you're missing context here. If there's a soldier who came back from Afghanistan, also understand that a lot of people lie, Tiboho. They're not actually veterans. You see people in the street holding signs up, homeless veteran, never served a day in their life. People believe the bullshit. It's like, oh, homeless. Oh, veterans are homeless. I tell my audience who are sympathetic, there's no reason for anybody to be homeless. Okay? VA helpline for homeless. VA help for homeless veterans, okay? VA homeless programs. Here we go. All right. Housing assistance. So, VA homeless programs office, okay? So, here we go. Veterans Administration. Okay. Homeless program. Okay. Are you a veteran who's homeless or experiencing housing instability? If you're a veteran who's homeless or imminent, not a combat veteran, just a veteran at risk of homelessness, we strongly encourage you to contact the National Care Center for Homeless Veterans. A toll-free number, no charge, 877-4AID-VET, 877-424-3838 for assistance. No veteran should be without a place to call home. Conducting outreach, conducting homeless at risk. So they have programs here for mental health, housing assistance. There you go. Healthcare, job employment. Let's go to housing assistance. Okay. The collaborative program between the Housing and Urban Development and the VA combines HUD housing vouchers for VA supported services to veterans who are homeless. As of December 20th, 2023, HUD has allocated 112,000 vouchers for veterans who are homeless around the country. Supportive service for veteran families. Homeless veteran chat. You go on there right now. Dial for veterans. There is no reason for any veteran to be helped. The Veterans Crisis Line right now. There are people manning this 24 hours a day, paid and volunteers. There is no reason for anyone to be homeless who's a veteran. If you're a homeless veteran, Vena1978, thank you for subscribing. If you're a homeless veteran, you can call that toll-free number or someone can call on your behalf and tell them about you, and they will get you in housing today. Today. Not tomorrow, not next fucking week, today. If they can't get you a house, they put you in lodging that's temporary until they can get you housing. It's for 12 months, costs you nothing. So this is all bullshit. I don't know where you're getting this story from, Tuboho. Now, that doesn't mean there aren't homeless veterans. There are people with mental health issues. People who refuse to get help. People who sit out because of drug use or because of mental illness, because of PTSD. They don't seek help. But there's no reason for anybody to be homeless. The resources are there. So trying to curry empathy for people who claim to be veterans who are homeless gets zero empathy from me. Zero. The protests are peeved because Democratic slush funds were shut down. You're right, Amanda. No more money for transgender surgeries. Exactly. I've had a lot of issues with USA over the years. I've also had good service. I've had issues. They cost me tens of thousands of dollars in profit because they didn't sell a stock when I directed them to when a stock was being bought. As a consequence, I had to wait 6 months to get my payment. And in those 6 months, the money I was going to use to buy a different stock, that stock sextupled in value and I lost tens of thousands of dollars profits because I didn't have the money and they didn't execute the other trade. I think this might be a far stretch, but with 9% of jobs in Wyoming, you can argue that unemployment there is 9%. That's not unemployment. Vale, that doesn't even make any sense. You can't say the number of jobs has anything to do with the unemployment rate. There's nothing to do with it. Amanda says she's censored by YouTube. Folks really need to chill. You will find work, yes, maybe. I don't get this. I mean, I don't know how many times we've got to say this. There are millions of jobs sitting vacant here and millions of criminal aliens being booted out of the country. More jobs come available every day. And as the economy begins to grow, after this lull, there's going to be millions more jobs. Relax. There's 183 million jobs in this country. Why are people so worried about a job? Good God, you haven't got a fucking job in South Africa. What are you worried about? So if you don't have a job in South Africa and you got to worry about people breaking in, raping, murdering you, no electricity, you drive on what's left of the road, the ports don't work, you can't get shit, you're attacked because of your skin color, and you're worried about a job? For fuck's sake, you're coming to America. You don't have to worry about any of that shit. If you don't have a job, get over it. Oops. Did I hurt some feelings there? Did I touch a nerve? Is somebody going to leave now? Did I hurt some feelings? Chris was mean. The mean colonel. He yelled at us. He raised his voice. Oh, he was so rude and disrespectful to South Africans. Oh, I can't believe it. Why do people watch this program? Oh, he's a meanie. He's a meanie. No, we're not excluded from Social Security benefits, Peter O'Connor. We have to pay Social Security. How could we be excluded from them? Doesn't make any sense. Social Security's been messed with since the very beginning, Holden. First off, black people are largely excluded from it. They excluded the railroads, so blacks were kept out. One of the major sources of employment for blacks, railroads. Agriculture wasn't part of it because it's self-employed. They never got anything for it, so they were excluded. A lot of blacks worked as sharecroppers. They were excluded. And domestic workers were excluded. And wait staff at restaurants and hotels. That's where most black people worked in the 1930s when Social Security was created. So they were largely kept out of it by the racist Democratic Franklin Roosevelt regime. It's been messed with since the very beginning. Social Security is a Ponzi scheme. It never should have existed. I'm 6 minutes behind? Okay. All different states, trades have different states. Some unions, some non-unions, some employees, some contract. Yep. Yeah, the prototypes in America are insignificant. Yep. Yeah, so much BS out there. Well, the questions I get, it's obvious that people are reading stuff that's just bullshit. We hope to go to the U.S. as a family. My parents are over 60 in my family. It doesn't work like that. Your parents are adults. They'll have to apply for refugee status on their own. Unless they're your dependents because they're incapacitated. Many won't. No, some. Isn't many, some. Do you know how many veterans are in this country? Do you know how many veterans? 23 million right now. Some won't seek it. Can't believe 99% what you see on the internet. That's true. What's this? That's why your channel is so important to tell the truth, Colonel. Well, thank you for that. Look at MK running around in uniforms. Yeah, almost none of them ever served. None of them served in any legitimate army. A couple, a handful of them served in MK in the bush, but most didn't. Bribery without onion is like a car with no wheels. Oh, okay, sure. I think I need to leave my job. It's interfering with our morning lives. Hey, Madeline. Yeah, people need to think for this. Don't just trust what you see online and TV. Again, do your own research. Jeremy, right. Thank you, Indonesia. That's what I tell people all the time. I show you the receipts. You don't have to just believe me. But, folks, a lot of the questions you ask are in the videos. If you watch my videos, I know you say you don't have time, but you sure have time to show up my live streams and ask the questions. The live streams are a lot longer than the videos are. The videos are usually 10 minutes or less. I don't have time to watch your videos, but you show up for a 3-hour live stream. Thank you. Please show up for the 3-hour live stream, but please watch 10-minute videos too. Peter, I can't give you general cost of 3 or 4 bedroom in dollars to buy in the outskirts of towns, more or less. Nothing's the same. USA needs to stick to home and auto insurance. No, I think they should have kept their investment stuff, but it's already gone. South veterans should be treated amazing, yep. This is why I run your show, Chris. Tired of nonsense. Yeah, Rakes, exactly. I just showed you right there. I went to the VA website. There's not a single excuse for any veteran to be homeless. But there will always be homeless veterans. There's no excuse for anybody to be poor, but there will always be poor people. There's no excuse for anybody to be racist, but there will always be racist. That's just the nature of life. You can't eliminate those things. They're there. There's no reason to be a Democrat, but sadly there'll always be Democrats. Too many F-bombs. Ooh, scientist. Too many? There were only 4 in there. What did Copy say? Americans are too lazy to work? Where do you get that shit from, Copy? Americans work harder than any people in the world except the Japanese. Americans work themselves to death. We work our asses off. Now, yes, there's a lot of lazy people since COVID. That's for darn sure. But Americans work their asses off. We get fewer holidays. We take less leave than any other country in the world. The only place that works harder than America is Japan, where you're expected to die at your desk. You are way off base. Arctic has been here. He's a South African. He's seen how Americans work. Okay, Americans are lazy. What the hell am I doing here? I'm not getting paid for this. I work 7 days a week to bring people the news. Because I can. Do you think I worked 5-hour days when I was in the Army? You think I worked 5-day weeks in the Army? 36 years of working every freaking day. Yeah, Val, I know. I'm just having fun too. I'm doing a little bit of trolling back. Hannes, Hannes, I'm so sorry I hurt your feelings. Not the hurt fees. You guys are killing me, man. All right. Baron Bernard says, for those South Africans who haven't been in the USA, when I was there in 2019, when Trump was in office, I couldn't help notice help wanted signs, same regularity as no job signs in South Africa. Exactly. That's why I like to watch your videos. You say it like it is, and we know you will help us with the truth. Yeah, exactly, Garrett. That's what I try to do. Max is laughing his butt off. Ani Herb says, I don't think we really know what human rights really mean. Selective rights messed up here. Yeah, no, people don't know what human rights are. All right, take care, Xavier. Madeline says $20 a lot. It's not. Depends. $20 is nothing in Manhattan. You'll starve to death. You'll be standing street corner selling your ass if you only make $20 an hour. $20 an hour in rural central Pennsylvania is good money for a single 18 or 22-year-old. Not good money for a family. No. All right, Taboho, enjoy your work day. Yeah, for you guys, it's rinse, cycle, repeat. Rinse, cycle, repeat. It's like you're not reading the instructions. So you pick up a bottle of Tresemme. It says rinse, cycle, repeat. Rinse, lather, repeat. Rinse, lather, repeat. So you got some South Africans still in the shower. You got rinse, lather, rinse. Rinse, lather. They're still in the shower. They've been in the shower for 3 weeks. Rinse, lather, rinse, leave the shower. Okay? Now you can leave the shower. I have said many, many times why I don't like onions, Ravani Fribus. You just haven't heard it, or you weren't paying attention. I don't like onions because they're a poor chef's excuse for poor cooking. They use onions to cover up their shitty cooking. Chefs who are bad cover up their bad cooking with onions to give it flavor, to cover up the poor taste or bland taste of food. I don't like onions. They're slimy. They stink. They're horrible. You ever try to kiss someone after they eat onions? Disgusting. Nope. Horrible. Horrible, horrible. Nope. Charles says, I'm just starting to realize the comment says an all-time low. Well, I'm with you, brother. When is South African churches going to change their hours so their members can... Who are the numbnuts in the South African Parliament wearing their camos? That's the MK party. Mkhonto Sizwe party. All right, Peter. I hope that helped. It wasn't the rascal you thought. No, it's okay, Herman Lowe. It's fine. Yeah, so Vale's been working since 1998 nonstop. What about the bonus army? I got to wrap up here. Where's the bonus army? People are not used to jobs being available and them being fitted for jobs. That's what I call Monday. Yeah, I work with all the nationalized American people the best. They work hard and always have fantastic attitude. The Army at every waking moment in your life. From 18 until 55, yes. Leftists who are spread the obvious lie, the Americans are lazy. You're right. Only the Japanese work harder than the Americans. Yep, that's right. Only the Japanese work harder than us. We don't expect you to die at your desk, but we expect you to show up after you had surgery. Oh, you had surgery today? Get your ass to work. Corporate employee refugees. Yes, of course. There's no stigma to being a refugee. Good Lord. Why do people think being a refugee is a bad thing? It's not a bad thing. You did nothing wrong. You're being protected by our government. You're being offered a wonderful opportunity if you're a refugee, whether you're from Somalia. Look at Ilyana Omar, who defrauded the elections or the immigration system. If they did a proper investigation of her, she'd be booted out. You guys are worried about the Democrats changing the laws. Someone needs to investigate Ilyana Omar. You can't marry your brother and come to America. It doesn't work that way. Time for coffee. Crypto new. Didn't General Patton do a cavalry charge into those veterans' families? You're talking about the bonus army. Patton, MacArthur, Eisenhower, they were all there. They're all guilty. Yeah, the way they treated veterans. I've covered that story, Holden. Why are you bringing that up now? I've covered that story repeatedly. On Veterans Day, I've talked about that many other times. Yeah, it's a shameful part of our history. They attacked veterans who were never paid their bonus that they were promised by the government. But who promised them the bonus? Woodrow Wilson, a lying shithead Democrat. Woodrow Wilson promised them a bonus. He's a shithead Democrat, and he reneged on it. Yeah. And who's the shithead Democrat who sicked the army on veterans? Franklin Roosevelt, another shithead Democrat. Do you sense a trend here? Do you sense a trend? Andrew Jackson, the first modern Democratic president, because it was Democratic-Republican Party. That's completely separate, defunct, doesn't exist anymore. Not related to the parties you know today. The first Democratic president was Andrew Jackson. He stole the land from the Choctaw, the Cherokee, and the Seminole Indians, forced marched them in the dead of winter to Oklahoma. Racist, thief, land thief. You want to talk about land theft in South Africa? Andrew Jackson stole more land than any South African could ever dream of stealing. He stole Florida, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi. Yep, and parts of the Carolinas. Stole it for white people. That's Andrew Jackson. That's the legacy of the Democrats. That and slavery. They're the ones that started the Ku Klux Klan. They're the ones that Jim Crow laws. They're the ones that lynch people, by and large. There were some Republicans, mostly Democrats. Then we have the screening of the first ever motion picture in the White House, The Birth of a Nation, a racist lynching movie glorifying the Ku Klux Klan. And who showed that movie? When? In the White House. Woodrow Wilson, racist scumbag Democrat. Then in the 1930s, who sent the army after to beat up and attack and murder veterans on the mall? Franklin Roosevelt. And who also incarcerated 125,000 Japanese Americans, some who were third and fourth generation American citizens? Franklin Delano Roosevelt. Who obstructed the Civil Rights Act of 1955 from being passed after Brown versus Board of Education forced schools to integrate, which they tried to stop? Well, that was the Democrats. Who stopped the 1957 Civil Rights Act? The Democrats. All you need to know right there. Yeah, gadgets. Some people do, because some people steal my content. It's fine. I enjoy it. We did the mechanic salaries. People here can make $45 an hour as a mechanic in this part of the country. Well, let them come here and get locked up and then lose their refugee status and be sent home. Yeah, life in South Africa is not normal. Exactly, Gordon. Why are people looking for places to work and live? You don't even know where the hell you're going if you're even getting admitted to the refugee program. Steve Bannon has never been at the Department of Justice. I don't know what you're talking about. Woodrow Wilson allowed the infiltration of communists into the Democratic Party. Yep. Rather than Eisenhower treated German POWs like crap, may have been something to do with. I don't know if it had anything to do with his death. Good morning. All right, that's it, guys. I got to go here. I caught up in the chat finally, but I gots to go. All right, be sure to hit the like button. 470 people. I really hate to go now, folks, but I got to go. We've been climbing the whole time. I watched the video you made talking to people, PA and MD, maybe about how the Southern government political groups work. It's very, very insightful. Oh, you're talking about this video here. I'll give it to people. That's great decisions. Great decisions. "2018 South Africa's Fragile Democracy." That's this one right here.
This is what Ivy League universities...
Oh, not the advertising here. If that's the link she's talking about. Yeah, I did that years ago. We played that in one of the streams recently, so you can go check it out if you want. Go check it out, okay? All right. There's the link, Arctic. There you go. All right, you guys take care. All right, have a good one. Thanks for being here. I got to get up in 5 hours. Less than 5 hours. All right, cheers. And we'll see you tomorrow. If I have time, I'll do a video during the day. I'll try to do news. It'll be on my mobile device again, as it usually is. All right, that's going to do it. Where's the closing video at here? Cheers. Thanks. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the likes. No new members, but that's okay. Thank you.